I love it. I love it. Wow, I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's good my homies, what's poppin'? UFC 291, Dustin the Diamond Poirier versus Justin the Highlight Gaethje for the BMF strap. Let's go. As always guys, we look at my bets from the last UFC card, and unfortunately for myself, 2 weeks in a row my lineups have gone to the final bet, and for 2 weeks in a row my final bet has been women's mixed martial arts, and for 2 weeks in a row both of those women have lost, and both of them got stopped in round 1, both of them got subbed. Yeah, my winning bets was Nathaniel Wood and Daniel Marcos, but in all honesty, Daniel Marcos, he didn't win that matchup. I think Davey Grant won that fight. I kinda feel unlucky not to cash the plus 110 on Danny Perez. You know, he started that fight really well. I think Filia went up to like plus 300 or even more. But as soon as Danny Perez hit the mat, he crumbles into dust. The same as Molly McCann. And by the way, just cut Molly Trashball McCann. Cut her from the UFC. Now moving into the promised land, the land of the G's, the land of MoneyCity. As always guys, if you see your name on the screen, that's money. Pure money. MoneyCity's like infinite, you know, it's never ending. The winners of last week, they're already looking for more, so let's go. Alright, moving into the first matchup on this card, we've got Miranda Maverick taking on the zombie girl, and I'm going to start by saying the most obvious thing that we could say, and that's Miranda Maverick is not a minus 350. There is advantages in this matchup for Miranda Maverick, such as the wrestling and jiu-jitsu. You could also say she's technically better with the striking compared to the zombie girl, but not necessarily more dangerous. And that's because the zombie girl is extremely powerful, a big hitter. Now guys, Miranda Maverick is on a 2-fight losing streak after being ragdolled by Erin Nurmagomedov, which is pretty acceptable, but the loss to Jasmine Jasudavicius, not so much. And Jasmine was able to win the striking and the grappling, but then again, Jasmine is a seasoned wrestler and she had the height and reach, you know, physically outmatched Miranda Maverick. Now guys, on the flip side, you've got the zombie girl, who in all fairness is really entertaining to watch. She's basically willing to eat all of your best punches in order to land her best punches. I would definitely say that she's improved since her first couple UFC fights, but it's still pretty much the same thing. You know, she's gonna walk forward, get beat up, and just try to stay there until she can break her opponent. Now that wasn't the case against Lipski. You know, she took no damage against Lipski, just dusted her real quick. But yeah guys, I'm going to side with Miranda Maverick. I just think her grappling advantage would be the result. However, like I said, she's not a minus 350. Moving into a matchup between Matt Semelsberger taking on Uros Medic. So Matt Semelsberger's currently 8 fights into his UFC career. It doesn't really feel like he's 8 fights in, but he is. So nearly double digits for Matt Semelsberger at the highest level, which is a pretty respectable accomplishment in itself. The best performances that Matt's had in the UFC are probably the quick round 1 stoppages against Jason Witt and Martin Sano. But to be honest, these matchups, these performances, these wins, they're not really fights. They're just quick stoppages. So really, if we're going to look at Matt's best performances in the UFC, you would have to say his performance against Jake Matthews was his best performance. You know, Jake Matthews has a lot of experience, and Matt Semelsberger looked really good in that matchup. However guys, there is a couple matchups where Matt Semelsberger kind of fatigues, you know, starts to lose in the middle of the matchup. And maybe those matchups kind of point to the fact that Matt Semelsberger's still green. He's still learning. Now the opponent is Uros Medic, fighting out of Alaska, which is, you know, some people say Alaska fighters are garbage, and to be honest, it's kind of difficult to dispute that claim. However guys, Uros Medic is coming off a very impressive win against Omar Morales, where essentially he controlled the whole fight right up until the stoppage in round 2. Now guys, Medic is going to be taking this fight on very short notice. He's not going to be cutting a lot of weight. This fight is at 170. I think Medic will probably look good for about 2 minutes. Then after that, I think Matt Semelsberger probably starts to bully him. probably finds a stoppage. Medic is a really good kicker. His teeps to the body are pretty good. But I think Matt Semelsberger's a better boxer, more likely to catch the chin of Uros Medic. So my prediction will be Matt Semelsberger to find a TKO stoppage either round 2 or round 3. That's my pick. Alright, moving into a matchup between CJ Vergara taking on Vinicius Salvador. Now guys, what I really like about this matchup is the style of CJ Vergara is completely different to the style of Salvador. CJ Vergara is the type of guy that would be fighting on street beefs if he wasn't a professional mixed martial artist. And if you've not seen street beefs on YouTube, check it out. CJ's the type of guy that will happily fight you in a backyard. Whereas if you look at Salvador, he's more about, fighting technically clean, doing fancy kicks. He's trying to be slick, more advanced. But trying to be more advanced isn't necessarily better. It doesn't necessarily make you better. Of course, when you try to move and feint and switch and fight like Nasruddin Imavov or Cyril Gane or Corey Sandhagen or Dominic Cruz or Adesanya, of course, when you try to implement the highly advanced striking style, it's extremely difficult. But the point I'm making is implementing that style doesn't necessarily make you better than the junkyard dog. So guys, the picture that I'm trying to paint is CJ Vergara's a dog. He's going to walk forward. He's willing to fight. He's willing to overcome adversity. Whereas the opponent, Salvador, I don't think he's as willing. When the going gets tough, I think Salvador's probably going to get going. And that opinion is just based on his style. His style doesn't revolve around adversity. His style revolves around always being in control. Whereas CJ's style is the type of style where he's already thinking, I'm the underdog. I'm the guy that's got to go in there, fight and prove myself. CJ Vergara's a dog. He's that style. And also guys, remember this event is at elevation. And Salvador got pretty tired against Altamirano. His takedown defense was pretty bad. His get-up game, pretty bad. So yeah, I'm going to side with the dog, CJ Vergara, to potentially find a late stoppage. Alright, moving into a matchup between Jake Matthews taking on Darrius Flowers. Now guys, Darrius Flowers got a contract to the UFC by essentially evolving into a hybrid of Jessica Andrade and Randy Orton. The Jessica Andrade part is based on Jessica Andrade showed us, look, if someone's going to attack an armbar or attack a Kimura, just pick your opponent up and dump them on their head. And the Randy Orton part refers to the fact it was out of nowhere. However guys, Jake Matthews is by far the best competition that Darrius Flowers would have competed against. And Jake Matthews was getting dropped and dominated by Matt Semelsberger. And in all fairness, Darrius Flowers does have power, just like Semelsberger. But guys, outside of a round 1 KO for Flowers, I think it's pretty likely that Matthews would win this matchup, potentially find a submission or even a KO stoppage. So my prediction will be Jake Matthews to win this matchup, and I don't think it's going to go 15 minutes. Alright, moving into a matchup between Roman Kopylov taking on Claudio Ribeiro. And low-key, this is a really decent matchup. Now guys, Roman Kopylov is a 5-time combat sambo world champion, and you wouldn't exactly guess that watching his UFC career. However, his last 2 performances have been pretty good, and I did take Kopylov as an underdog against Puna just for the reason that Kopylov is direct with his strikes. His punches go from A to B in a direct line. Going from A to B as quick as possible, it's always going to be done fastest in a straight line rather than going with a loop. And what I mean by that is Soriano is more about hooks, whereas Kopylov was able to win that matchup because he got to the target quicker and sharper. Now guys, Claudio Ribeiro is similar to Puna in the sense that he's really powerful, holds big knockout power. But if you look at Claudio Ribeiro, he's more likely to start with calf kicks. He's more likely to deliver chopping kicks to the leg of his opponent. And this matchup is going to be southpaw versus orthodox. Roman Kopylov fighting from the southpaw stance and Ribeiro being traditional. So guys, that basically means that watch for the inside calf kicks of Claudio Ribeiro. Claudio's really going to target the inside leg, the inside calf of Roman Kopylov. And Kopylov is very heavy, on the lead leg. So guys, I do expect in the first 2 minutes Claudio Ribeiro to really be landing that calf kick. However, if Roman Kopylov can clinch up, step in with the jab to counteract the low kick, or even get this fight to the mat, more than likely Claudio Ribeiro is going to find it difficult. His cardio is also pretty bad. You know, there's a lot of muscle on the frame of Claudio Ribeiro, which does make him very dangerous for about 2 minutes. But outside of that, the muscle is more of an enemy than a friend. So my pick will be Roman Kopylov to win this matchup. But guys, like I said, the inside calf kick of Ribeiro is pretty live to land in the first 2 or 3 minutes of round 1. But my pick will be Roman Kopylov. Alright, moving into a matchup between Derrick Lewis taking on Marcus Rogerio de Lima. Now guys, we were just speaking about the calf kicks of Claudio Ribeiro, and Marcus Rogerio de Lima arguably has some of the best calf kicks in the UFC. Without a doubt, some of the best calf kicks at heavyweight. De Lima can chop a tree. This guy's a Brazilian lumberjack. However guys, let's not get distracted from the fact that Derrick Lewis has the most knockouts at heavyweight. He holds the record for most stoppages, most TKO stoppages. That's an accomplishment that speaks for itself. And it basically tells us that Derrick Lewis is extremely dangerous. Now guys, does Derrick Lewis have good cardio? No, he does not. Does Derrick Lewis offer high level grappling in his fights? No, he does not. Does Derrick Lewis have a high level jab that he can work off? No, he does not. Is Derrick Lewis a great kicker? No, he's not. But guys, Derrick Lewis does not hold the record for most knockouts because he's the most well-rounded. He holds the record because he will slam a bucket of Popeye's chicken and go to the cage and dust the opponent. Derrick Lewis is a gangster, but it is kill or be killed with the Black Beast. He can definitely knock anybody dead at any given moment, and it's probably going to be a round 1 stoppage if Derrick does win. But guys, Lima's got more paths to victory. His jiu-jitsu's better than Derrick's. His ability to kick the opponent is much better. His defense is better. He's also going to be quicker, better cardio, more likely to win over 15 minutes. I think there's more ways for Lima to win this matchup. But guys, I've not picked Derrick Lewis to win since 2020 August, since he fought Alexei Oleinik. That's the last time I picked Derrick Lewis. Guys, I think it's time to make that pick again. It's time to pick the Black Beast by complete dusteration, but it's not the most likely. Like I said, Lima's got more paths to victory. He's got more chance, but I'm rolling with the Black Beast. That's my pick. Round 1 stoppage. Let's go. Alright, moving into a matchup between Trevin Giles taking on Gabriel Bonfim. Guys, I'm currently 100% in picking Bonfim brothers matchups. I bet both of them in their UFC debuts in Brazil, and then picked against Mini Bonfim when he fought Benoit Saint Denis. And I kinda expect after this weekend, I'll still be 100% in picking Bonfim brothers matchups. And that's because Gabriel Bonfim has really good boxing. If he catches Trevin Giles clean, more than likely gets a KO stoppage. And also look at how quickly he wrapped up the neck of Munir Lazzez. That's what's most impressive with that win. The moment Lazzez changes his level, the neck is wrapped real quick. I don't think Bonfim could have snatched his neck any quicker. His jiu-jitsu, his boxing, it's extremely good. On the flip side, Trevin Giles hasn't really been impressive, in my opinion. He stepped down to welterweight and got badly dusted by Michael Morales. He did bounce back with 2 wins against Kosi and Preston Parsons, but the performances are kinda lackluster. Horrible performance against Kosi. The performance against Preston Parsons was better. You know, Trevin started to use a nice jab in the middle of that fight, but he also got badly rocked at one point. And to be honest, if Preston Parsons is able to rock you, best believe Bonfim is gonna dust ya. So yeah guys, I would be surprised if Trevin won this matchup. I don't see him having the same success with his jab. I can't see him being quicker. I can't see his chin holding up. And I also don't see him being able to grapple with Bonfim. So yeah, give me Bonfim to win this matchup and probably a round 1 stoppage. If you waited to smoke with me, amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, double amen. If you're not a smoker but you enjoy the smoke breaks, you know exactly what that is. It's a triple amen. Let's go. Stay high, stay blessed. MoneyCity gang, smoke break gang, amen gang, all them gangs. Guys, Nathaniel Wood and Andre Fili, oh my goodness, how good was that matchup? How good was that fight? Nathaniel Wood instantly gets dropped He gets caught cold, recovers and drops Feely. Feely survives. We go into round 2 and Feely gets a big knockdown. Nathaniel Wood survives. The London crowd go insane. You know, this is a great fight. We go into the final round. You know, things calm down. And there was no room for error in that final round. And that's probably why things calmed down. But my goodness, what a matchup, what a fight. One of the best matchups we've seen this year. And Paul Craig has got to be the best underdog Scottish fighter that ever existed. Like, he's got to be. UFC London was really, really good. Tom Aspinall, oh my god, dusted Augustus Gloop. Hooked him up to the Shadow City server. Sent him back to Ben Askren. Alright guys, let's go. Alright, moving into a matchup between Michael Chiesa taking on the homie Kevin Home Alone Holland. Kevin Holland is one of my favourite fighters. One Christmas he was left home alone, but since then, dude's a beast. And some people might say that he's not a beast because he loses some fights. But that's okay. You know, there's got to be a winner, there's got to be a loser. And you learn from your losses. When you look at Kevin Holland, his takedown defense is not good. But there's no doubt he would have worked on that. It doesn't mean his takedown defense is now perfect. It just means there's an area of his game that needs work. And as a fighter, that's your job to work on that. So there's no doubt Kevin would have worked on his takedown defense. As for Kevin's striking, I wouldn't say it's great. It's definitely not bad. His speed is good. His kicks are good. He's also got a long reach where you kind of think you're at a safe range. Then bang, 1-2 down the pipe. Dusted. Get dusted, Buckley. Hey guys, never forget when Kevin told Buckley to wipe his bogey off his face, then proceeded to dust him. You love to see it. Now let's speak about Michael Chiesa, a jiu-jitsu black belt that doesn't exactly offer much other than his grappling. If we look at the boxing of Chiesa, abysmal. If you look at the kicking of Chiesa, atrocious. The striking of Michael Chiesa is really bad, but that's because he's a jiu-jitsu player. So essentially, if Kevin Holland doesn't get his back taken, his neck taken, his ankle taken, if Kevin doesn't get taken to the mat, I would have to assume that he's probably going to dust Chiesa on the feet. So my pick's going to be Kevin Holland to TKO Michael Chiesa. Alright, moving into a matchup between Tony Ferguson taking on Bobby Green. Now guys, please spark your blunts for Tony Ferguson in remembrance of just how good Tony once was. I currently don't have a blunt rolled, so yeah, if you guys could do that. Listen guys, fighting is a young man's game. That's a fact. As you get older, everything becomes more difficult in combat. I speak a lot about how eventually in a fighter's career you just decline. Fight to fight. And that's kind of what you're seeing with Tony Ferguson. If Tony Ferguson loses this matchup, that's going to be a 6-fight losing streak. And if he doesn't retire on a 6-fight losing streak, that would be really disappointing. And I say that because I don't want to see Tony Ferguson continue to ruin his legacy. I don't want to see Tony Ferguson continue to take unnecessary damage. I know Tony Ferguson has an army of diehard fans. And I'm a big Al Kukui fan. Always have been. Always will be. I just don't want to see a 40-year-old Tony Ferguson continue to get dusted. Now Bobby Green on the flip side isn't a spring chicken, but in terms of fight mileage, he's way younger than Tony Ferguson. Bobby Green's got some really slick boxing, you know, hands down, shoulder roll, pop pop, and that style is kind of dangerous because if your hands are down and there's a big connection made with your chin, it's lights out, game over. And that's basically what happened against Drew Dober. But Tony doesn't have the same type of power as Drew Dober. He's not as sharp, he's not as quick. If this fight happened like 5 years ago, all day Tony Ferguson, all day. So yeah, my pick has to be King Bobby Green, but who I want to win is Al Kukui. Everyone wants Al Kukui to win. You know, money aside, betting aside, we all want Tony Ferguson to win this matchup. But against a really slick boxer in Bobby Green, I'd have to side with King Bobby Green to win this matchup. Maybe Tony Ferguson can have like a Robbie Lawler moment where he kinda winds back the clock. You know, finishes the career in style. But I kind of doubt it. But I also want it to happen. You know, it's one of those ones where what you want to happen isn't what you think happens. It's one of those ones. Alright, moving into a matchup between Stephen Wonderboy Thompson taking on Michel Pereira. Guys, can we just start by saying Michel Pereira's not 29 years old? He looks closer to 39, let's be honest. It's an amazing matchup. Essentially, it's karate versus capoeira. And Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is one of the best karate players we've ever seen. His ability to kick is super, super good. And guys, if there's ever a fighter that I'd love to see make one final run for a title and win the title, one final run, if there's ever a fighter, it's Wonderboy Thompson. All day. His striking is just so good to watch. Even at 40 years old, he's still teaching these guys. You know, these guys are still shooting takedowns on a 40-year-old karate player. But guys, on the flip side, I think Michel Pereira is extremely entertaining. Jump knees, spinning attacks, kicking off the fence, backflips. It doesn't sound like you're speaking about a fighter. Backflips? What? But that's Michel Pereira. He's so entertaining to watch. However guys, his cardio's pretty bad. But if you're doing backflips and jump knees and all that, it's pretty easy to assume why he's slowing down in the middle of round 2. I do believe Wonderboy should win this matchup. But the smartest way to bet Wonderboy, in my opinion, would probably be to just wait and let Pereira do his best work in round 1. With how explosive Pereira is, it's probably fair to just wait 5 minutes and then look for an in-play bet. Because guys, I wouldn't be shocked if Pereira dropped Wonderboy. You know, he's very, very explosive, power in his hands, power in all of his techniques. So yeah, in my opinion, Pereira round 1, that would be his best round. And I think it's probably fair to just wait 5 minutes. And that's not to say that Wonderboy's money line is bad, because it's pretty good. It's like around -150. The first 5 minutes are so dangerous that I kind of just want to wait. Just watch the first 5. So yeah, my pick will be Wonderboy, but it's not going to be a pre-fight bet. It's going to be a live bet, potentially. Oh my goodness, this is it. Jan Polish Power Blachowicz versus Alex Pereira for the vacant light heavyweight championship. Banger. I cannot wait. I really cannot wait for this matchup. Just how good. Guys, just how good is this matchup? My goodness. The former champion Polish Power Jan Blachowicz in search to regain his title. He's coming off a draw against Ankalaev where he looked really, really good for the first 10 to 15 minutes. But the championship rounds were very bad for Jan Blachowicz. Now guys, this is a 15-minute matchup. It's not a 25-minute matchup. Jan Blachowicz has nasty, nasty KO power. His calf kicks are super good, super nasty. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And remember guys, Jan Blachowicz has been competing in mixed martial arts for 2 decades. His knowledge and understanding and his ability of grappling is 2 decades ahead of Alex Pereira. In other words, if Jan Blachowicz can get Alex Pereira to the mat the way he got Israel Adesanya to the mat, I don't expect Pereira to survive. However, Alex Pereira is one of the best strikers in the UFC. Extremely powerful. The dude is made of metal, just like Jan Blachowicz. Both of these guys are made of metal. So much power. And if you look at the lead hook of Alex Pereira, the left hook, oh my goodness. My goodness. If Alex Pereira catches you with that left hook, it's good night Irene. Night night, game over. And Alex Pereira is coming off a knockout loss to the champion Israel Adesanya, where maybe he got a little bit overconfident, got dusted. Now guys, if this matchup takes place on the feet, obviously either guy can find a stoppage. Like I said, they're made of metal, so much power. Either guy can find a stoppage. It's Polish power versus Brazilian power. Both of these guys could sleep a plane. You know, that's how much power. But I do believe if this matchup stays on the feet, I think Pereira would be more comfortable in a stand-up fight, whereas Jan Blachowicz would find it much easier to compete against Alex when it comes to grappling. Now, does this matchup go 15 minutes? Guys, in my opinion, I can't see how. I cannot see how. There's too much power, too much violence, there's too much at stake for anything to be left on the table between Jan Blachowicz and Alex Pereira. This matchup is going to be a really, really good matchup, and I'm going to take Alex Pereira to win this matchup. I just think it's going to stay on the feet, and I kind of see him sleeping Jan Blachowicz. I'm going to say sleeps him in round 2. Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje 2 for the BMF strap. The co-main event is enough for UFC 291, but this main event, oh my goodness, it really takes UFC 291 to a whole new level. Guys, find me one person on the planet that is a fan of mixed martial arts that is not excited to see this rematch. Find me just one. Impossible. Impossible. How do we even start with this breakdown? You know, how do you start? What do we say? Let's start with the boxing. Evidently, the boxing of Justin Gaethje is extremely good, and the boxing of Dustin Poirier only gets better. The boxing is super good, but I'd have to say that Dustin Poirier is offensively and defensively a better boxer than Justin Gaethje. It would also be fair to say that Dustin Poirier is a better grappler than Justin Gaethje. I know Gaethje's got the wrestling background, but he's never used it. Why has Justin Gaethje not used his wrestling? Because that's not Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje's looking for highlights. He's already got plenty. He's looking for one more. Without a doubt, Justin Gaethje is the better kicker in this matchup. We've seen Dustin Poirier have success with his low kicks against Conor McGregor, but Justin Gaethje is by far the better kicker. His low kicks are super damaging. Now guys, in the first matchup, I did take Dustin Poirier. I went back and rewatched that fight, and my goodness, just how good is the boxing of Dustin Poirier. He really peppered Justin Gaethje. Justin was able to land a lot of inside calf kicks, and anytime he did, Dustin would just respond with a 3-piece, a 4-piece, a 5-piece boxing combination. Eventually gets a late stoppage. Now guys, has Justin Gaethje improved since their first matchup? Unquestionably, yes he has. I think Dustin Poirier is a better boxer. I do believe Dustin Poirier is a better grappler, and I think Dustin already having a win over Gaethje, it kind of points to Poirier winning this matchup. But guys, I'm a sucker for changing my pick with rematches. I'm gonna change my pick for this rematch. This time round, I'll be taking Justin the highlight Gaethje to become the baddest mother if he isn't already. As always guys, leave down your main event picks, your co-main, your underdogs, your parlays, straight bets, money city plays, all of that stuff. Drop it in the comment section below. And as always, eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Enjoy UFC 291. Peace.